Hello and welcome to another reading vlog. I have just said hello, said goodbye to last week's version of you guys, and so here we are again, ready to start another week of reading. So it is Sunday evening, I might still do some reading tonight. I am ahead of the curve, I'm like 1,350 pages into my Aurelian TBR, whereas I only needed to be at 1,163 at the end of this evening, so we have about 200 pages head start to go into this week, but I'm gonna need that because I'm pretty sure that I will not get the necessary page count every single day throughout the week. So we'll be using that reserve throughout the week and building up a new reserve throughout the weekend. But so, what I'm currently reading is, I still have this one going, The Unexpected Earth, and so I'm going to be slowly chipping away in this one, but I do have to give this one a little bit of a higher priority this week than I did last week, because I am struggling with it a little bit, and so I was just like very often giving in to my urge to prioritize my other books over this one, and that has led to me not even being halfway through this book at this point in time. And you know, I have other physical reads that definitely need to start replacing this one, so I do hope to finish this one throughout the work week still, because that would mean that I can like fit in another physical read starting with the weekends. Now, for my commute, I need another audiobook, and so for the commute, I'm going to be reading Katabasis by R.F. Kuang. So this is a Descent into Hell dark academia fantasy. I'll be listening to it. This is the special edition that Lumicrates did for the book, and I absolutely love it. I was debating for a long time getting it. I was debating with the Broken Binding edition in the end because I loved both editions. I initially said like I'm not getting any of them. But then when the sale for the Illumicrate one hit, I in the end decided like, nope, I don't want to see this pass me by, so I did. Hello guys, it is Friday and I have potentially, like, first of all, for attention, I was totally cut off at the end of the last update because basically the battery died on me in that last update. But it is once again Friday, and just like last week, I barely have a vlog thus far because during the week I didn't vlog at all. Last week I had more b-roll, this week I at least had an introducing clip at the start of the week, but yeah, we need to get on to this vlogging game. But hey, last week I did end up having a lot of vlog content throughout the weekend, so let's hope we can do that again this weekend, because as potentially indicated in the last vlog, this is the Climate Weekend Reading Challenge month basically. So every weekend in the month of September we are doing a reading challenge for the Climate's book club that is hosted by Barbora from the channel Bookworm Wonder. And so each weekend we challenge ourselves with a set of goals, like a to-do list, and then we reward ourselves when we get progress towards that goal. Now, last week I did it kind of willy-nilly because I didn't really calculate goals in such a way that I was easily able to see how far along I got. This week I'm planning to do it a little bit differently. I plan to have like 4 core tasks that I'm going to connect to a reward. So it isn't the case that I will reward myself if I'm like 25% in or whatever. I will just give like 4 tasks, 4 goals. I'll probably make a list of smaller tasks with a smaller reward to kind of see if I can urge myself to do some other stuff as well. But these are the 4 things I'm going to be mainly focusing on. And so that is, first off, finishing The Expanded Earth. This is a book that I wanted to finish last week. I ideally wanted to finish last night, but last night was basically a night in which I did barely any reading, which also means that I'm going into the weekend very far behind on the reading goal. I started this week with over 200 pages ahead of it. I'm now over 200 pages behind on where I need to be by the end of this evening. Now, that's not that far behind as that sounds like, but that does mean that yesterday I was some like 50 pages or so behind on where I needed to be. And so with the 160 pages that I normally need to do in a day and that 50-page backlog, we are now like 200 pages behind. But yes, that is the backlog that we're starting with, which ideally I want to work through, but it isn't. I'm not going to place that as my goal. I'm going to be kind to myself. I'm just going to place 4 goals on here, and those are the things that need to be happening. But you know, like ideally I want to be striving for the big goal of catching up, and 2 of these goals are going to help me with that, but I'm not going to make it my main goal. I just don't want to put that type of pressure on it neither, because I do want to earn my final goal, which would have been the 100% goal if it weren't for the fact that I'm now doing things a little bit differently. But so, finishing the Expanded Earth means I get to open a bottle of wine. So I just bought a bottle of wine Friday nights, or just like throughout the weekend. I like to have a glass of wine occasionally, so it's but I can only open it up once I finish the Expanded Earth. At this point in time I still have 55 pages to go in it, which could potentially mean that I cannot open it tonight. So I'm gonna be doing everything in my power to be able to open it tonight, because like the idea of just sitting down with a glass of wine tonight is really appealing to me, but I'm only opening it once I finish the Expanded Earth, which also means that my main goal tonight is going to be to finish the Expanded Earth. Secondary, I need to film and edit a video that will go up tomorrow. That will be my second goal, and the reward that I'm allowing myself for that is 2 hours of gaming. And then the third goal is going to be to film and edit another video. I need a video for Wednesday. Technically speaking, this vlog also needs to be edited, but you know, I'll give myself a smaller reward for that, I guess, or should I see that as my... Let's be kind to myself and say that filming and editing this vlog is going to be my sort of like third challenge, and so the one that I can get another reward for. And to be fair, I haven't actually decided on that reward yet. I can reward myself with a monster for that, because I bought Monster, sort of like the energy drink. I haven't had a Monster since like high school. I don't even know whether I will like it, because I didn't necessarily love it that much back then that I've been drinking it regularly, but I just felt like trying it again, so I bought one, and so that can be my reward if I finish that goal. And then the final goal is going to be to start and finish Dawn by Octavia E. Butler, and so for that one I get the reward of eating a pizza. So I bought a pizza now. Originally the idea was to eat the pizza tonight, but then I was like, you know what, maybe I should leave that for Sunday evening, and just like have that be my final reward, have it be like the you've completed the challenge reward. And then I was like, you know what, maybe not, let's just make that then I came up with this idea of like doing it challenge per challenge. And then the live show for Dawn, which is our group book for the Climates reading club, the live show for that will take place on Sunday evening, so my deadline for finishing that is Sunday evening, and so it would be lovely to finish it in time, put a pizza in the oven and devour that pizza before the live show, during the live show, who cares. But yes, that is the final goal. And then I'll set myself some little challenges, because I do have to do some household chores. Like ideally I get some cleaning done, ideally I do a lot of laundry. Would be great to kind of see if I can exchange the sweater I bought last week for like the smaller size. But so those things I'll just give myself like smaller rewards for, like, I don't know, light a candle or something like that, a facial, those types of rewards, or like just like an hour of yoga, those types of things, you know, smaller things will be possible for me to accumulate based on those smaller tasks. I'll probably make a list at some point and include that in the B-roll, but yes. But that does mean that now I have to cook. I was really hoping not to cook tonight, but you know, like, we can do this. And you know, the good thing is that, you know, if I cook tonight, I have food for tonight and tomorrow, and then on Sunday I can have the pizza. I might make the HelloFresh for lunch as well, so that I don't have to cook on Monday. But you know, like, at least if I do it tonight, and then tomorrow it'll be done with, and I can listen to Katabasis while I'm cooking. It just means that my progress in the Expanded Earth will just have to be postponed a little bit, and so the drinking of the wine will have to be exposed, postponed. Jesus. Will have to be postponed a little bit. But so yeah, that's the update so far. This week has not been a kind week for me at work. private wise, and there's some health stuff with my cat going on, and then at work there's a lot of stress due to a case that is becoming super urgent. And so yeah, this week has been stressful, and I have been waiting for the weekend for a long time, which is also why I would love to dive into that bottle of wine, but it's also probably a wise choice that I have to wait a little bit longer. So yeah, I'll check in with you guys tomorrow. Good morning. Yesterday I finished The Expanded Earth by Mikey Please. So I have it actually lying here. So I still love this cover. It turns out that this is part of a series. I will not be continuing this series. And the annoying thing is that I also do kind of like the ending of it. You know, I've struggled with this book for the majority of it. And I think the reason why is just that it reminds me of sort of like a brainless action movie, you know, like an action movie with a lot of shooting and like the pace is constantly moving, but there's also not a lot of like deep thoughts or deep emotions going into it. And that's not to say that this book is like completely without its emotions and things like that, but it definitely feels way more action heavy, and my brain was not activated a lot. There were not a lot of things that made me think or reflect, and so in movies, this is already not like my preference, but occasionally you're like in a brainless mood and you're like, you know what, I just want to like watch some easy content in terms of a movie right now with some popcorn and a Coke, and then I can deal with those. But then it's also just like 2 hours and the screen is moving and telling the story to me. I don't have to actively put in much effort to consume the story the way that I do a little bit more when reading, and I have to actively scan the pages and have my brain process the information, which I guess I can turn off more easily for reading than I do for movies. You know, I'm also more of a visual person, so I guess the information more easily gets progressed visually than I mean, of course, when I'm reading, it's also visual, but you know, like, I guess you know what I mean, you know, like image-wise. I don't make images in my head when I'm reading, so reading is always a little bit more of a processing thing for me. And so, yeah, the fact that I need to put in effort for something that then is not really rewarding me made this a struggle. Should I have DNF'd? Yes, I should have DNF'd, but I don't know, it's because of Magical Readathon. It's that's like my one qualm with Magical Readathon, I guess, is the fact that it doesn't count if you DNF. And this happens for other readathons as well, or like, but a lot of times there's also this sort of like rule, if you get past the 50% mark, it's fine. But so here you have to fully pass, and so yeah, I could have used a scroll. I definitely have the budget to use a scroll. There are definitely ways in which you can make this work, but somehow my persistent personality was like, nope, you are going to finish this book. It is for Magical Readathon. And only then did I actually realize that I accidentally DNF'd a Magical Readathon book somewhere in the past, so I had to subtract the 10 points for the DNF scroll in any case, because I think last year's autumn equinox, I didn't finish one of the books and I continued on with that past the readathon. And then at some point I must have forgotten that this book was actually even for the Magical Readathon. And so I've DNF'd it with 10 pages to go, and now I was like, oh yeah, now I have to use that scroll because I DNF'd that book and I counted it as read. But so, tangent aside, I finished The Expanded Earth. It did have an interesting ending, but like the only yeah, I mean, it had an interesting ending, but on the other hand, I'm a person who is okay with open endings, and so I can also continue my life and not know what happens. There are some elements here that are interesting because the way in which, so if you don't know, The Expanded Earth is a book in which all of a sudden humans shrink down to like the size of, let's say, a foot, maybe it's even smaller, I'm not entirely sure, and then, you know, we're just following a few characters as they go about their lives, and we're also following a woman scientist a bit back in the past of this timeline. So there's the understanding that she's probably involved with why this happened, and the why of this happening is interesting, and that would be interesting to see what we do with that later on within the series. But so little focus is on that I also am not entirely sure that that would really be worthwhile. And as indicated, it's just very action packed, and I'm not necessarily all that interested in that aspect to it, or that aspect has made reading for me quite a chore because I don't get enough reward based on sort of like interesting intellectual thoughts, or like intellectual sounds so heavy, but interesting thoughts that pop up in my mind based off of what I'm reading, or it doesn't make me reflect, it doesn't make me think like, oh, maybe this is happening, or oh, like this makes me think of this other thing that I've read or whatever. So it's just not really engaging me, it's not engaging my mind, it's not engaging my sort of like you know, like the emotional aspect. I'm not emotionally connected to these characters. I don't have any reactions to bad things happening or whatever. So yeah, it's just not working for me, and so I will not continue. But I do think, like, if you want to give it a try and you're okay with open endings, you could, for example, just read this first book and be happy with it. The plot lines of the first book are resolved by the end of this book, and I do like one twist that happens there, because there's something you're kind of like, there are 2 times or so in the books in which you've made conjectures about what happens, and then they kind of get subverted a little bit, and so I do like that. I like that aspect of it, of having had a thought about where things were going and then being proven wrong. I always liked that, and so that happened at the ending of this book, and so I did appreciate that. But so yes, we have finished The Expanded Earth. I got to open my bottle of wine yesterday. I'm already a little bit sad that I got the small bottle, I gotta say, but the big bottle typically is just like, it's an effort to finish it in a weekend before like it goes bad, because you cannot keep wine too long either. So yeah, I had the wine, and then I also did a little bit of the smaller chores. So I folded the laundry, which earned me like a, was that the thing that earned me the candle? That earned me the candle, and then reloading the laundry earned me like a cup of crisps. But then when I finished that cup of crisps, I of course wanted another cup of crisps. So I added the task of like unloading the dishwasher, for which I would get another cup of crisps. And then I also had the reloading of the dishwasher, for which I actually haven't really set a reward yet. I should set that one, because I don't know yet what I'm gonna set for that. Yeah, I'll have to have a think on that. But in any case, this morning I went to grab a cup of coffee in a different mug than this one, because this is the mug I use the most. I used the mug that I haven't used in a very long time, and it showed because there was a bug inside it. So yeah, I think I'll have to unload the dishwasher again today, reload it with all of my mugs and have them cleaned, because I had like a bug infestation. Like, this whole building has a lot of a particular type of bug, which is like the silverfish, disgusting creature. But there's another smaller type of bug that I had like an infestation of recently, and I've seen that they've gotten at my mugs. So I need to clean my mugs for any traces of these bugs, because yeah, I don't use most of my mugs as indicated. I use the same one most of the time. I think I have like 5 that I use all the time, and those mugs are of course clean. But yeah, I now want to clean all my mugs, I guess. But so yes, I have just filmed the video that will earn me my second reward, which was to be able to spend some time gaming. So yes, I am about to go and edit that one, so that one can go up tonight, and that I'm well ahead of time for that one. And then yeah, we'll see what comes next, because I have to start Dawn still, because yeah, the live show for that is tomorrow evening, so I definitely need to make some progress in that today. It is Sunday morning. The image is probably crooked, but I'm not getting back up to change it. Yeah, I have just gone out for a walk, 6.21 kilometers apparently, which also means that I've unlocked another treat, though I'm not entirely sure which one it is. Oh, I think to watch an episode or a movie. Like, if I finish Dawn in time, I might actually go for a movie this evening. But I do still have like 150 pages to go in Dawn, so that is probably not all that reasonable. But I did kind of bend the rules yesterday. I didn't actually watch an episode of something, but I watched reaction videos to episodes of something, so maybe I can also just use this as sort of like my trump card, like, yes, I used this already multiple times actually, but so we'll see if I finish. But like, probably I won't finish in time, because I also still have the 2 hours of gaming that I can use, so I'll probably do that this evening instead of watching that movie. But so yes, I basically decided yesterday to switch my rewards around, and so yesterday evening I had the monster that normally was going to be my reward for finishing this particular video, but then I was like, yeah, but this particular video is always just going to be finished at the very last moment on Sunday evening, so that would mean that, like, I don't know, at 10 o'clock on Sunday evening potentially I unlock the possibility to drink a monster, and that's not really a time in which I want to be starting to drink a monster. So yeah, I had my monster yesterday. It had been a very long time since I drank it. You know, like, I'm not really sold on it. It's fine, but it's like very chemical tasting, so I didn't mind it, but I'm also just like, yeah, I don't think that this is like something that I'll ever crave. So I've tried it again. Maybe I'll try another flavor at some point, but you know, yeah, I was just curious after so long from having seen it on some people's channel that they're always drinking monsters, and then I was like, I don't remember it being that good, and indeed I don't like it all that much. But so yes, I am halfway through Dawn by Octavia Butler, which is an interesting book, but also a book that I'm struggling with to some extent. Not struggling, as in I'm going through it pretty quickly, but I'm also not super invested in it. So it's a book in which we follow this woman called Lilith, and there's been this massive war on Earth that has seen like humanity try to destroy itself. And when we meet up with her, she's basically kept in some sort of a like holding cell, and she doesn't know who her captors are, or why she's there, or what they want from her. And yeah, I mean, I don't know whether I should say more than that, because you find out like really at like the end of the first chapter, so it's not like it's a spoiler neither, but I don't know whether I should fill in those gaps. But in any case, it is an interesting and weird type of book, and it's interesting to see the concept and see what Octavia Butler does with the concept, but I'm also not super invested in like the plot and the fate of the characters, and like there's no emotional connection. So I like the intellectual exercise of seeing what we're doing with that concept, and of looking at these different type of societies and their intermingling and things like that. But that's about it so far. But that's not to say that it's not interesting. It's just like it's not full, like it will not reach a 5-star potential, because I'm just not emotionally invested, and I need those two. I need emotional investment and I need like intellectual investment, and I have one but not the other. And that is also to some extent my problem with Katabasis by R.F. Kuang at this moment. Like, I've had moments of deep emotional investments. I've had moments in this book that I really felt like were 5-star moments, but on the whole, I feel like the book is too reflective, too intellectually interesting, and not enough emotionally interesting. There's a few times in which I definitely feel my mind drifting. I get back in my brain and I'm thinking like, oh fine, she's still like reflecting. Sure, I didn't miss a thing, you know? Because she's just like lingering on things for such a long time, thinking through things for such a long time, that there's just too much reflecting in it compared to action. So yeah, I've had an interesting mix over this week, I feel like, because I feel like I've had like 3 kind of different experiences almost, not really fully, but I feel like definitely 2 different type of experiences. I had a book that's not intellectually challenging enough, and then I've had 2 books that are too focused on the intellectual side of things, where I'm intellectually engaged but not enough emotionally. I think Katabasis is like the one that gets the furthest, and I would say I still think that this is a good book. I enjoyed the book, but I'm not invested enough to be like, oh yeah, it's a new favorite or anything like that. Not invested enough to feel like I'll be rereading this book at any point, which is very sad because I have a beautiful edition of it. So yeah, that is just the sadness about it. It has moments of brilliance. It was super promising at the beginning. I was really just like loving the exploration of academia and of the cutthroat world of academia, and like each man to themselves, and these sort of like rivalries that are pushed upon people in academia, the way that you have to kind of like prove yourself, and the way that the success of another can kind of feel like it's standing in the way of your success, the way that you constantly need to be doing better than the other to prove that, you know, like you are worth it, you are worth your funding. And the exploration of the trauma that is linked to pursuing this career, and that is linked to the relationships that you build in academia, and the fraught relationship that can exist between a student and their teacher or their advisor in this case, and the way that you can kind of that like a victim of abuse can kind of have grown to justify her abuser's actions through that trauma. So yeah, it has really interesting themes, concepts, academic exploration, because we definitely explore a lot of academic stuff as well. I love the fact that the magic here is built on like logic and paradoxes, and trying to build statements in such a way that you can make the impossible true. But it just doesn't fully come together for me, unfortunately. But I'm not done with it yet, but I don't really see how much is going to change in like the final hour, I think, that I have left of the audiobook. So yeah, maybe I'll change my mind fully when I give you guys another update, but I'm about ready to go and prepare for some sprints. I'm doing sprints in like half an hour, I think. So yeah, I just need to make myself some coffee, get something into my stomach, set up the camera and all those things so that I'm well prepared for when the sprints are going to be starting. Hello guys, I'm here to round off the vlog. So I have finished Katabasis and I have finished Dawn. So Katabasis, as indicated, I like this book. I think it's really interesting. I think thematically it's doing very interesting things. There's a lot of things I enjoyed about it. It's just not like, I don't love it the way that I was hoping I was gonna love it. I just really enjoyed it, which is a good thing, of course, and I don't think this is one of those cases where my expectations ruined it, because I do know that, like, I enjoy R.F. Kuang's books, but they aren't like the top of my favorite books of all time. They're not the ones that I have like a lot of memories about after having read them. So yeah, it's just a little bit sad because there's so much in there that I really enjoy, and there's so much in there that I find really smart and that I would love to love the execution more. I just don't get to that final level. But then when it comes to Dawn, Dawn actually surprised me by the end of it, because for a lot of the time with Dawn I didn't really know what to feel about it, or like what the tone was, what the direction was that this book was going to take towards like the people who are keeping Dawn, like this woman Lilith, captive. And I gotta say that I was pleasantly surprised with that ending. It is a series, so there are sequels to it, but I think that this is the type of ending that would really work for me as well. It's an ending that is kind of unsettling, and so I don't necessarily mind that that would have been the ending forever, or if I weren't to continue I wouldn't mind this type of ending. Kind of reminds me in that unsettling nature of the ending of the movie Life. It's not like that, but that movie also has a very unsettling ending, and that might like be an issue for a lot of people because it's open, but I actually enjoy that a lot, an unsettling open ending. And so this one will definitely continue, so it's open, but it's just like making way for the next book in the series. But yes, I enjoyed that one a lot, and so I feel like the tonally this book didn't always work for me because it's very like sick, and I feel like I didn't get as much emotional investment into the characters, though I will say that by the second half of the book I had more investment than I had in like the first half, because of developments. There's some more interactions that are you know, in the first half there's a lot of interactions that are weird, confusing, and people are kind of like feeling each other out and don't really understand. It's sort of like a bridging of translation gap, whereas in the second half we have more of a familiarity between people and more of a tension that builds as a consequence of tensions and fear and a lack of control, and so I enjoyed the second half more, I want to say, than the first half, and that kind of like elevated my experience with it. I left it on a higher note than I started it with, and with Katabasis I would feel like I started on a really high note, and we also ended on a high note. Let me clarify that. I love the ending of Katabasis as well. There's just a few bits in the middle that kind of like dipped a little bit. So yeah, that's just my overall thoughts. They don't really make a ton of sense. But so yes, for this week I have now read 2,397 pages, which means that once I'm done editing this video, I am going to be reading 3 more pages just to get to the 2,400 mark, which is like my ideal progress for this week. But so yeah, I have just been doing the 2 hours of gaming. It might have been more, I didn't necessarily time it all that well, and I definitely got stuck at the end where I was like really wanting to defeat like one more guy, and so I was always saying like one more attempt. At one point I was like, okay, 3 more attempts, but even then when I died like the final time I was like, no, one more, and that happened like 3 more times I think, until finally I was like, okay, never mind, we are not making this tonight. So yeah, I have enjoyed this weekend a whole lot. I've enjoyed also being able to sneak in some gaming time, even though I have to do a ton of reading this month. And yeah, I'm very much hoping that next week I'm gonna have an amazing time with my reads, because one of the books that I'm gonna be reading next week is a book that I've definitely been highly anticipating getting to, and so I'm very eager to finally pick that one up. It's probably one of the books for the month of September that I was most looking forward to, which is not to say that I haven't already picked up quite a few of those, like Bury Our Bones and the Midnight Soil was one of those, The Expanded Earth unfortunately didn't work out that way, and Katabasis, which I feel like it sounds as if I'm disappointed with it, but I'm just disappointed that I don't love it as much. So I'm just disappointed in the fact that I had that lull section with it, because I think if I didn't have that lull section with it, then I would have absolutely loved it. Like, so if it would have just been a tiny bit more edited down, then it probably would have worked much better for me. But so yeah, that is going to be it for me for this week. And yeah, tune in next week when I'm going to be reading other books that, you know, I'm very excited about. Let's try to finish another 1,200 pages next week, and this time I'm not going to be going in with 200 pages reserve. I'm going to be going in with like 60 pages reserve or something like that. So yeah, let's see how long that will last. But so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you guys for the next one. Bye!